a part in this, either cigarette tax, which I know originally had been intended to perhaps go toward capital, either that or anything that the governor had proposed that is not yet law, but are you open to either of his ideas?
Well,
in that regard?
there's, for example, there is a proposal that we ask our retirees to pay more for their health insurance. So if we did that, that would come into the category of additional revenues, for example. But there's no new taxes that we're proposing.
What's the status on that retiree health care thing? I know Senator Schoenberg was
I think,
crafting that.
yeah, I think there's a report that's due. There's a consulting company that's coming back with a report to see if there's a way in which we can, based on a means test, ask some of the retirees who may have retired at early retirement years ago, gone out and got another job, have their other job has health insurance that they're not taking because they work for the state. I think that we're talking about folks that have an average salary of over $70,000, plus they're getting a pension. So, and also in some cases free health care. So that's what we're talking about looking at, and that would be additional revenues and perhaps avoid some of the additional cuts.
If Republicans don't file, go to LRB, file their amendments for their package, what does that mean? Do you have any expectations for them to do so?
I
would
think if I were you guys, I would ask them, what was your press conference about when you talked about the $5 billion worth of cuts? How are we supposed to vote on them if you don't go to the reference bureau and get a bill and introduce it? It's not like I'm bottling up their proposals. I'm inviting them to introduce them so we can vote on them. It would be amazing for them not to actually introduce their proposals. And that's all I'm inviting them to do. And then, of course, I'm asking them to help us with the cuts that we are going to propose.
Just to clarify, are you saying that any proposals that they did introduce would get a floor vote or just a committee hearing?
Well, certainly a committee hearing, and certainly we could consider, if there was enough support, to have a vote on the floor. That's possible.
Now, when you talk about cuts you're going to propose, I mean, when will we see like a single outline of what those cuts are and how they add up to the $1.2 billion?
Well, that's a good point. We've been accused of doing this piecemeal. Well, that's not accurate at all. We know we have to cut 1.2. I would say 1.2 is the goal. And so we will try to come up with amendments that will reach that total. It's just that it's not going to be in one bill dumped on their desk on May 30th or 31st.
But in terms of your priorities where these cuts would occur, I mean, I guess I'm still curious, when will we know what those priorities are? I mean, when will we see them?
Probably the week of May 3rd when I announce we're going to come back and work on the budget.
So that, I think Dave was saying you'll actually have the amendments for the one.
Yeah, we're going to go to the reference bureau, not the blue room, and we're going to have,
Yeah.
budget,
And
actual bills. We're going to vote on bills.
And I get your point on the going to the reference room. I'm guessing that their point is that they are going to have to go that deep, they'd have to make some deep cuts that would be something that would create political backlash. And so
Look,
they want something
I didn't.
look,
I praised them for having a document. I think some parts of it are unconstitutional, or they violate contracts, or they violate consent decrees. But there's certainly other things in there that are very specific. I think they proposed the cuts in education of something like $750 million. So go to the reference bureau, get their amendment to cut the education budget by $750 million, and let's debate it.
Is that something you would vote for? Cutting education by that degree?
I don't think it's necessary to go that high, but we have to really sit down and see if we can get a comprehensive approach to reach the $1.2 billion in cuts. They were specific about certain things. If they want to do it, introduce them.
Well, why are they bluffing? Why aren't they drawing up a bill?
I'm telling you, I was surprised today to hear that this is their plan. I have offered this in a more transparent, open process, the way I remember it happening years ago. And some of the older reporters here, or more veteran reporters, not older reporters, would remember how we used to do it. And so it's the way it should be done.
Well, there is a middle ground between what you're proposing and dumping something on everybody's desk at the last minute that's a done deal. and that would be for the governor and the leaders to kind of set some general guidelines for, you know, we'd like education to be in this ballpark and this and that ballpark. Why not pursue that possibility?
Well, everybody, you know, the governor made his proposal in his budget, and it's out of whack. And so we are responding to the governor's proposal, and now we're saying to them, let's each work together. You've got your proposal, we'll work on ours, introduce your amendments in 2 weeks, and then we'll go through this open debate about it. And so that will get us to a balanced budget.
Do you think, Mr. President, that if you get this through this way, that you'll be able to prevent a tax increase or keeping the tax at this same level? Will you think it will expire is what I'm trying to say?
Well, that's 4 years from now, and we have no idea what the economy is going to be like. We have no idea what the changes that might take place at the federal level. There's a whole bunch of speculation. We have proposed and have assured the next 4 years a stable, balanced budget with a way to pay all our bills off that had accumulated over the last number of years. And that's what we're proposing. And that decision, as I've said before when we passed the income tax, is a smart one because we'll have a governor's debate about whether we should increase it, let it go away, decrease it. Even the Republicans' press conference proposal suggested that they wanted to phase it out. They couldn't even eliminate it under their own proposals. So it's a tacit acknowledgement that there was a need for more revenues.
Do you see any